Hello. Making a garden video, and my eyes are swollen and my nose because I've been crying all day long. I went to bed crying, I woke up crying, cried all day long, but I feel a little bit better now because I cried a lot of stuff out, and that's really good and very healing. So, and it's wonderful to be able to flow, literally, with these emotions and with the childhood trauma and all of that, and flow it out of the system physically and energetically. And that's really wonderful. And I am infinitely grateful to be able to do that, even though sometimes it feels like, is this ever going to end, that pain? And am I ever going to heal this? And will my life ever become happy? So these questions arise. But that in itself is also a feeling, and I'm feeling it and I'm crying it out. And I pray to the blue God. And that's good. All of that is very good to do. So that is my path. Okay, and I offer that path because that path is better, it feels better, and it feels like suffering, but it's really flowing. Suffering is when someone is in resistance towards those feelings and tries to cover them up or numb themselves so that they don't have to feel it. Then they suffer more through those acts of numbing down and acting out and running away from that what they really feel. So, or forcing themselves to live a life that goes against how they really feel. So that's much worse, suffering. Or struggling with people for love, for example, like a never ending, like what my mother did with my dad. This staying with this man who had multiple girlfriends and a lifetime mistress. And they, he and his mistress, they really had good conversations. When he was talking to my mother, they were only gossiping about other people. With the mistress, he had real conversations. She was like a second mother for me. He should have broken up with my mother. That would have been his responsibility to do. And he should have moved in with the mistress. I don't like that word. With his soulmate. So, and my mother should have broken up with him. And she should have gotten together with Günter Grass, who really liked her. He was really into her. Günter Grass was my mother's type. So, intellectual with glasses, a book writer, famous writer. But she took my dad. If she had moved in with Günter Grass and had a baby with him, then I would not be here. Okay. I would not exist. And I think about this all the time, how that would be. How non-existence would be like. I wouldn't feel pain. From childhood and being hurt by men in the present moment that trigger my childhood. This wouldn't be happening. But then I would not be out there on the meadow feeding a carrot to a horse, kissing a horse on the velvety nose. I wouldn't be doing that either. This is a real challenging existence that I live. It's psychological pain. Thinking about non-existence kinda feels almost feels like a yearning, I'm yearning to not feel any of these things. Jealousy and all of that. Looking at my wrinkles. Been bitten by some insects in the eyelid. I would not have been bullied in the chat room if I didn't exist. I would not have been bullied in school. I was thinking earlier about the haters. And I would like to ask them the question, what would happen if you were nice to me? What would happen? You know what happens when you are mean to me. You make me suffer, you make me cry. Sometimes all night long. All night long, I had to say to myself, Nicola, you are lovely and deserving of love. All night long. I had to kiss my arms. What would happen if you were nice to me? That's my question to the haters. To the bullies out there. To all of them. What would happen if you were nice to me? Outwardly, first of all, I would like you, and I would want to talk to you, share things with you, information. I'd share my feelings with you. You know, all kinds of things can happen. We could fall in love. We could just be friends. But have a friendly communication. That'd be good. How would that feel to you? What feelings would come up if you were nice to me? Or what feelings would come up if you just didn't write anything at all? You talk to someone else, you know. Make friends with someone else. Don't write to me. Don't come to my channel. Don't watch my videos. So that's another question. How would that feel if you just walked by and did nothing? How would that feel? Would that bring up anxiety or maybe some kind of maybe ego problems? Ego would say, no, she's easy to throw under the bus. Why not do it, right? She's hurt easily, let's hurt her. Maybe it would feel like the ego needed to hurt me. What if you're nice to me? What if you come to my channel and are nice, just nice? There are some people that are nice and I appreciate it very much. Just be friendly, nice. Be friend. Friend zone me, please. Be nice, just be nice. So. And there are some men that are secretly doing sock activities. I don't know how many, but there are some. But outwardly, they bully me and they treat me like garbage. So my question to them is, what would happen if you are nice to me? Just nice as friends. How would that feel like? And then, since they had been doing sock activities, the question comes up, how would that feel if you are sweet to me? Say something sweet. Write me a love letter. How would that feel? Would that feel bad to the ego? Would that feel like you are going out of style? Your ego would suffer, and you see me as garbage, and If you're nice to me, then you would see yourself as falling from grace. Those are questions that I'm asking. Would that happen? Maybe it would, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Only the person can know that. The hater can know that himself. I've made several videos absolutely sobbing. I could not use those videos. I had to delete them. I had to wait until I calmed down to make another video attempt, hoping that this time it will be more calm and more rational. But even if it isn't rational or calm, I share how I feel. But I feel embarrassed about being all sobbing and all of that. It's not easy to share those kind of things. Share when you are absolutely devastated. But that's not how I feel right now. Right now I feel like it's a wonderful afternoon. The rhododendron pink flowers are coming out and looks gorgeous. And I love this garden, and I'm infinitely grateful for all of this. I'm infinitely grateful to the sun to shine sunbeams of love down into this garden. And I'm infinitely grateful to the blue God to be bright blue there for all of us beings. And for the fresh air and the flower scents. It's nice. Getting grounded, breathing deeply through the abdomen. It's very important to do mindful breathing. Just enjoy nature. Look in the trees. And it's nice to see the tree limbs moving in the wind and the grass blades. It's really nice, and to hear the sounds, the whispering sounds of the leaves in the wind. It's nice. Some people, they have chimes on their doors. It's kind of cute, but I prefer not to hear chimes. I like nature sounds. It's nice sometimes when I lie in my bed at night and the window is open. I always have the window open at night. And I hear the sounds from nature, from outside. Sometimes I hear frogs, and just faintly from the distance. The people here, they don't appreciate nature. They put poison everywhere. They want to poison everything. It's heartbreaking. I love frog sounds. I love animal sounds and hearing the trees and the leaves and the wind. It's fantastic. And it's nice to do this, to go outside. I recommend it to you. Go outside and sit there and just listen attentively and mindfully to the sounds of nature. Really listen and breathe deeply through the abdomen. And don't worry if thoughts come up. Thoughts always come up. But try to bring yourself back to the sounds of nature. Like Adyashanti always says, let's not be in resistance towards our own resistance either. So some people will be in resistance to the resistance to the resistance. And so that happens a lot. So I have to remind myself, I'm in resistance towards my resistance. So let me just do nothing. Just sit here and breathe. And if resistance comes up, then that's resistance. It's just resistance. That's all it is. But mechanically stay sitting here and not acting on my resistance. Just breathe with it, with whatever comes up, whatever feeling comes up, whatever thoughts come up. Allow them. Sometimes horrible thoughts come up. Monstrous stuff comes up sometimes. It used to be real bad in the past, where when I was still talking to my mother, when I was trying to relax, I would try to meditate, and then absolute horror movies would pop up into my brain. Unbelievable stuff, slasher stuff. And I would wonder, where's that coming from? Why is that coming up? Why is that tormenting me? So I made progress. I don't have slasher stuff come up anymore. It's really good. I still have other stuff come up from childhood, from my past, people who wronged me, jealousy feelings, all of that. But at least no more slasher stuff, so no more horror films. That's a huge progress. And I also noticed that I haven't had nightmares recently. So the nightmares are becoming much, much, much more farther apart from one another. I used to have nightmares twice a week in the past, and I would wake up screaming. When the window was open, I'd be screaming and echoing into this entire street. And sometimes the screaming would go on until Paul comes into my room and wakes me up. And then he would say, "You sounded like you were being tortured to death." And then I would talk about it, what I was dreaming. And then I would force myself to stay awake for a while, because if I go back to sleep in 5 minutes, the dream will continue. The same dream. So I have to force myself to stay awake for like 10 minutes. Just sit there. And then go back to sleep. And then usually I would dream about something else. But sometimes the dream still continues, but maybe not in such a horrible form. Yeah, that was going on throughout my entire life. So obviously this is coming from something. I had many nightmares of being a child and being sexually molested and abused in bathrooms. So obviously that's coming from something. Although this is cut out of my wake consciousness. It's an amnesia. I'm talking about this because I want men or all people to know what those act outs on children do to those children, what it does to them for the rest of their lives. Just keep that in mind, okay? I know the perpetrators, they are driven by their own emotional pain. Most of them have been abused as well. But don't continue, don't perpetuate that cycle of suffering. Just don't do it. End it with you, with your lifetime. Don't make others suffer too. There's no need for it. Don't make any living being suffer. That's my message to the world. I feel very, very infinitely strongly about this. About making the world better, ending suffering for all living beings. That's my mission in my life. And I want to do anything I can that is good and peaceful, that is loving, to end suffering in the world. I want to help as much as I can. And this inwardness process that I do on myself is part of that journey. If I numbed myself like everyone else, then how can I help? How can I help make the world better? I can't. Then the suffering would just continue. The unconsciousness would continue. But I'm not the only one, of course. But I am one of those people that ends that cycle of suffering. Okay. That's also why I didn't want to have kids. I didn't want to continue that endless cycle of suffering. Why make more that suffer? I mean, I know I would have been a mother hen. I would have been the ultimate loving dog mom for all beings, for my biological baby too, of course. I would be the ultimate, ultra, infinite, overprotective mother. But the world we live in is very harsh. And that child would encounter maybe bullying, maybe by other people, maybe suffering, maybe physical injury, who knows? So that's gambling. Dr. David Benatar writes about this. But I'm not an anti-natalist anymore. But I still suggest to people to not have children. I still offer that as the safer solution. But sometimes there's a soul that wants to be born who has something major to offer to the world. So that can happen too, you know. So I know that now, and because of that, I'm not an anti-natalist anymore. These are all souls that made that soul decision to come into some existence in animal form or human form or plant form, or moving their energy into any kind of material. Could be anything. Any kind of molecular structure or item. I'm a panpsychist, so I believe that all matter contains energy, of course. Energy turns into matter. Matter can turn into energy again. Everything's about energy. I cried so much that I feel like going to sleep now. There's almost no more tension inside of me now. That's good. That's very good. I can be fully present now. Here on this lawn, I am fully present to the rhododendron flowers, to this computer, to the grass, the plants, to all entities, to all of you, to all haters. I see you, you suffer. And you run away from that what you suffer from. And then you suffer more because of that. But you don't know that. So I have compassion for you. Absolutely, I have compassion for everyone who numbs themselves. I understand. But it makes you suffer more. It makes you crash against the dead-end street. It's not an option. I'm saying that as a friend, not as some kind of counselor or nanny. I'm not your nanny. I'm just some sort of educator. I offer information. But the real work that I have to do is on myself. not on other people. I teach with my own journey, with my own healing journey. So my healing journey is the teacher. And that's wonderful. That's super. Okay, you guys take care.